Welcome to our podcast from the ground up, where we interview startup founders exploring their journeys, their success challenges, and lessons learned. We hope you be inspired in discovering what it takes to build a thriving startup. I'm your host, Jake here in Villarreal, and here with us today we have Lisa Popovici, the co-founder and CMO of Sienna AI, a company that's changing the customer experience and customer journey for e-commerce companies and others through the use of AI. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Jake, thanks for having me.
So a little bit more about Lisa. She's the co-founder of Sienna AI, an autonomous customer service platform designed for commerce, turning AI into customer service team's favorite super agent. Before launching Sienna, Lisa had 2 successful Shopify business exits, all while studying general medicine for 6 years. After graduating, she then pivoted to doing what she loves the most, building software for e-commerce. Lisa, so I guess before we dive in here, so the listeners know, where are you calling in from today?
New York.
Okay, great. And are you originally from there?
No, I actually just moved here 3 weeks ago. I am originally from Romania. I moved out of Romania around 4 years ago. I was pretty nomadic in the last years. Lived, in California, Europe. I actually moved now from London, where I spent the last 6 months. But I feel like New York will actually be my base, or at least for the next years. And I just want to, settle here a little bit more. Yeah.
Great. I lived in New York for 5 years and love that town. So I think you landed in a great spot. Let's go right into this here. So tell me what inspired you to build Sienna AI, and really talk to us a little bit about the space you're in.
Yeah, it's a really exciting space, new space, right? It's still new, even if it were, since ChatGPT came out last year, the adoption curve was pretty high, but it's still not, fully completed in a way. There's still so much more education to be done. People that have no idea that these kind of technologies exist, this kind of products exist. So it's a very exciting space. Definitely highly competitive, very challenging, very fast paced. If you take a break or stop innovating, you're literally going to die. So that's not an option. But what inspired us is the fact that we were always very bullish on the ideal customer experience. Andre, my co-founder, and I have been always building in the conversational commerce space. And a lot of our vision of how this ideal customer experience should look like came from our, merchant experiences, like actually being in the trenches, doing everything ourselves, talking to customers. And when it comes to customer service and customer experience in particular, we've noticed from our previous company, when talking to our previous customers, that around 70 to 80% of their inquiries, of their conversations, were repetitive. So we felt like there's so much human potential that's being lost in that repetitive, tedious work. There's not really a career growth opportunity. There's nothing exciting like just waking up every morning, especially on a Monday morning, with a huge backlog of thousands of tickets just waiting there for you to say the same thing over and over again. And then on the other hand, when you looked at, how are these companies currently solving this problem? There were only, the traditional automation tools like chatbots or, like basic rule-based automation, very limited, very frustrating, very bad experience, that were just not solving the problem. They were mostly just, in a way, they were like a patch, but like when you have some sort of, like, you have a problem, like with your gut, or you have like a headache, or every single day you get a headache, or you're just like not feeling very well. Like, what is the problem? I'm not just going to take a pill to solve it on the spot. I'm actually going to get more, like, do some digging, do some investigation, see like what is the root cause, so I can actually solve the root cause, so this doesn't happen to me every single week or every single day. So it's pretty much, I think this is a good analogy between chatbots and true AI. So yeah, this is like, some things that inspired us, and that's why we took action and really found that there's so much opportunity and such a big problem to solve in this space, that we wanted to, let's just go ahead, start talking with even more customers, validate all of our ideas, our vision, and just start building.
That's great. So, kind of painting the picture, the focus of your product is for e-commerce companies. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Sienna is a platform agnostic. However, our bread and butter is e-commerce. Yeah.
Okay. And so give us like a case in point of specifically the problem you're solving with your technology. And really, if you're an e-commerce store or company in that space or any other software company, really, and you need a better customer journey or a customer experience, walk us through how your product helps solve that.
Yeah. So I think the main pain points that our customers are experiencing and what leads them to Sienna is, first of all, the repetitive tickets that they're getting on a daily basis, lack of resources or bandwidth to deal with this load of tickets, and also the fact that a lot of companies are scaling very fast and they cannot keep up with the volume, right? And they do not want to overhire. They might not have, like huge budgets of like, bringing, hundreds of people just for customer service, right? And I think it's also the fact that overall they feel like they want to improve the customer experience, like even like how you respond to a customer, and the fact that you keep in mind what has previously been discussed. That might have been a discussion with another agent, and now you're passed on to another agent. So like a lot of context is being lost. There's lack of empathy, throughout those interactions, because agents need to always like, drill down tickets as fast as possible until their shift ends, right? They want to be as productive as possible. So that like personalization layer kind of like fades. It's not because of them, it's just because of time, right? And because of all of these things that they need to work on. And I think these are the main challenges. And just obviously, cost saving, streamlining operations, becoming more efficient, more productive. A lot of the teams that I'm speaking with, they feel like, we have this amazing team, we have this amazing customer service department. I don't want my team to waste their time on doing unproductive work. I have more important work for them. So like, how can we, bring in this technology to augment our team, help us scale ourselves, become, like work smarter, not harder. Sometimes you got to work smarter, not harder. Sometimes you got to, do both. So I think these are some of the things. Now to move on to how Sienna can help them. So basically, Sienna is an agent that takes a seat inside of their help desk, inside of their ticketing system, and works alongside the existing team. So every time there's a ticket, Sienna will, based on the data that it has, it will go ahead and assign itself the ticket and respond, solve that problem. It's built for resolution. And if it's not able to, maybe it has a knowledge gap, it will just route it seamlessly to the team. And then it learns from also, the agent's best answer. So the next time it will know how to respond. So it's literally like it's another, member that you're hiring. And it helps with a lot of use cases. So the reason why we have a lot of brands reaching already 80% in automation rate is because Sienna goes beyond just basic FAQ automation. You can literally have Sienna take specific actions, take care of the transactions, such as tracking orders, changing shipping addresses, sending a replacement, or we work with a lot of companies who sell subscriptions. So I believe that at least 50% of their queries are about, hey, can you skip? I am traveling next month. Can you change the frequency of my subscription? I have too much product. Can you cancel my subscription? Can you reactivate? All of these actions, Sienna is capable of doing them because of our integrations with the subscription platforms like Recharge, Skio, Stay, Order Group. So yeah, it's like you can do a lot of things and solve a lot of problems. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Talk to me about the market opportunity and specific to the customer experience with AI and kind of how you see it. You went out and you started this company, you got funding. Big picture, where do you see the market going with this type of technology?
Yeah. So when you look at e-commerce specifically, I think, again, repeating myself, there's still a lot of education to be done. There's still a lot of market and mindshare to be acquired. The way I see it progressing is when you look at these AI agents in the next 6 to 12 months, they are definitely going to be able to do much more than they are able to do now. So then teams will get restructured in a bit. Like definitely you're not going to have to waste your time on repetitive tickets anymore, but do more strategic work. Take care of VIP customers. Pick up the phone and talk to someone who really wants to speak with you. Take care of the retention of those loyal customers that you have. Maybe, I don't know, progress on other departments that you've always wanted to, but you couldn't because you just had to do your, day-to-day responsibilities. So there's going to be definitely team restructuring, and a lot of work will be done on the technology itself versus on the tickets. So this is where I'm seeing in the next 6 to 12 months. And I'm seeing a lot of excitement from teams. Also, there's still a lot of skepticism, right? Because it's such a new, with every single new innovation and technology wave, there's been fear, skepticism, there's been maybe some hate sometimes, there's been not folks that are not embracing it or just don't know yet how to. So I think, yeah, to pick up on my thoughts, I think there's still a lot of opportunity for education. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of excitement from some folks, like, oh, like I finally can do these projects that I've always wanted to do, or I can finally, improve these metrics that I am responsible for. Because it's not like, the AI is going to be reporting to the CEO or, the manager of like, oh yeah, I actually reached, these KPIs this month. No, the human is actually responsible for that technology and for those KPIs. Yeah, so kind of like this is where I'm seeing the next 6 to 12 months.
That's great. Yeah. And 6 to 12 months goes fast. So it looks like a lot of innovation and tools to help the agents, the customer support team, customer service team, but also being able to automate other tasks that will be helpful for a company. You went out, you raised 4.7 million in funding to develop empathetic AI customer service agents. Walk me through a little bit more about what is empathetic AI.
Yeah, it's a great question. So the reason why we are positioning ourselves empathic AI goes beyond just providing a shiny, nice, personalized response to the customer. Obviously, that's like very, very important. That's one of our major key features inside of Sienna, the fact that you can have this confidence and have this peace of mind that you're finally implementing an AI tool that speaks your own tone, voice, embraces your personality that you've spent so many years building, right? You don't want to lose that. But it's more than that. So when you look at empathic AI, you want to make sure that this principle gets applied also internally with the team that works with this technology. So, for example, when we think of empathic AI, we think like, how do teams internally collaborate with this AI in a very empathic way? So, like, how can we make it as easy as possible for teams to work with this technology, with this new AI team member, in a way that's very collaborative, very easy, very intuitive? It feels like you're actually working with a real colleague. And how can we embed this technology into their day-to-day operations so it doesn't feel like, oh, like another tool, or like so much work, or like it's just adding complexity. So I think it's also about that, like integrating this empathic element internally, but also externally when it comes to the actual and the actual interactions with the end customer.
That's great. Makes a lot more sense when you describe it like that. The top things that you should look at when buying an AI software for customer experience or the customer journey.
Yeah, this is a super important topic and very good question. So if we were to, let's go with the top three things, because there's so many. We're actually writing a piece on this. Like, I think it will have more than 10 items. But first of all, I do believe that you need to find a tool that, like, first of all, you should set a goal. So what are your biggest goals with AI, right? It's not like just you go in there. Obviously, there might be first exploration. You're just researching to see what's out there. You're educating yourself. But then once you like reach a certain level of confidence and knowledge in this technology and in what's out there in the market, you kind of like, okay, so I know all of these tools. I know they are capable of, but what do we actually need? Do we need to automate transactions? Do we need to provide personalized recommendations better in a much like a better fashion way, right? Like in a concierge way? Do we need to like help our customers their subscription effortlessly because we want to increase retention? We're seeing a lot of them drop and cancel their subscription because of how maybe challenging it is to manage their subscriptions. They are lazy. They do not want to go into their portal. They want to just text something and then magically be done for them. So is it your goal retention? Is it your goal becoming more efficient? Is it your goal maybe not over hiring and keeping a lean team, making sure what you're forecasting aligns with what you're actually, spending and your budget. So you have to define a goal and that set some clear KPIs to achieve that goal and see, okay, what technology, what is the tool that has these capabilities, these functionalities that actually align with our goals and the KPIs and allow us to reach these goals and allow us to track these KPIs. So one example would be, okay, if I am a company who sells subscriptions and I'm seeing a lot of friction when my subscribers want to manage their subscription, obviously I want to automate subscription management, right? So I will search for a tool that has an integration with my subscription platforms, can access my data, can access their, order information, all of their subscription, all the products, can have access to all of these data. And it's easy for me to automate all of those things. So first, for example, look at like the integration capabilities. Second, maybe you're a brand who has had problems with your CSAT scores. So you have pretty low CSAT scores because you just didn't have the right team yet, or maybe the right the time or bandwidth to actually go the extra mile, like always respond super quickly in the first minute or first 5 minutes after someone reaches out, keeping resolution times low, all of these things that make such a huge impact on, if you're a first time customer, the first impression is the most important thing. So maybe you're struggling with first response time, resolution time, CSAT scores. So you need a tool that has the ability to respond almost instantly and in your brand voice and go the extra mile, like be very empathic, be very personalized. Maybe you also like are a brand. I've just spoken with a very cool brand who is a little bit more quirky. They like to sometimes, tell some puns or some jokes or just, engage in this like extra, like very jazzy, tone of voice. So how can they scale themselves? How can they scale this brand voice? So you need an AI that's capable of actually replicating your voice, and it will not sound like a robot. It will not sound like, like a stupid, bot who just doesn't understand what you want. And like, just when you're interacting with it, you're just like, I'm just wasting my time. So I think first, it's very important to have clear goals, clear objectives, and find tools that can help you achieve those goals. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for explaining that. You mentioned stupid bot. I mean, we, as consumers, always interact with technologies that we think maybe there's someone behind it. And sometimes we know there's not, and it becomes very obvious at some level. So how you differentiate from a bot is more than just communicating. It sounds like it's learning your culture as a company. It's learning your voice and being able to respond empathetically or empathically based on the conversations you've already had with your customer base, which I think really provides that more engaging experience. You've talked a lot about your product, and I'll just ask it one more time from a different perspective. If you're a company out there thinking about using your product, with all the innovations going on, how are you differentiating more than others or taking a different angle than other companies? Because I think what you've been building is incredibly important for companies to look at.
Yeah, there's three main elements that make Sienna unique. So first of all is the fact that it was trained like a human. So it's not based on rules. It's not based on keywords. It's literally trained like humans think. So when, let's say you're a customer service agent or a manager and you get a ticket from a customer and has a lot of questions, it's a very complex ticket. So what do you do first? You first apply comprehension to understand what's going on. What does the customer want? Second, you apply reasoning. And then third, you apply decision making to see what's the best course of action to take based on everything that you know about that customer. So Sienna was built on the same three principles. And this is how it operates. Also, it's very contextual. It has that contextual understanding. It's able to read through the lines, even if it's a very complex message with a bunch of questions, with like a lot of frustration. Sienna is able to understand everything, respond to everything, and also do it in your brand voice in a very empathic way. It literally never gets annoyed. Like, sometimes we are humans. We're like, oh God, this customer is just saying the same thing and they're not accepting our, offer or our, way of solving this. Like, what can I do? I'm so annoyed. Like maybe, and that might come across through the interactions without you even realizing, because we're humans, right? But like with
Right.
AI, you have this cool benefit of like, you can literally like, tell like very bad things and it will never get upset. Like it will be even more, even more friendly, or match, just be very, very cool with it. So that's one thing. Um, Second thing is the fact that is very, empathic and personalized. So one of the coolest things where the magic happens at Sienna is our persona studio. So what you can do is you can literally create your ideal, let's call it like ideal agents. And you can have, for example, Katie, which is very professional, educational, down to earth for email. She's assigned for email. She has specific set of attributes. She has specific set of instructions. And then you have Joey, that's, I don't know, likes to tell jokes or likes to share best practices or some healthy recipes based on, obviously, if you're, a food and beverage company, on social media, or in the DMs or in the comments, right? So Joey has different instructions. Joey has different, guidelines, different like commands that he needs to follow. So this is very, very cool because you can literally scale your team in a very strategic way. And it's like adding these agents into your team that will literally follow everything that you tell them to do. And when you're interacting with Sienna today, it's like, it's very, very challenging to tell that it's an AI. So like 99% of customers cannot tell. And this is also because our customers are giving Sienna, when they create those personas, they give it a human name because it's their own choice. You can literally disclose it or not. And it's just so beautiful to see like the reviews from the end customers that they give to Sienna after they interact with Sienna. So they say like, oh my God, this is the best customer service. Sienna is amazing. Or it's
Wow.
like the name of the persona. And like, oh wow, like Katie solved my problem in such short time. Like, wow, like this is my favorite company. So I was like, you can literally see the impact those interactions have. So I think, yeah, this is the second point. And then the third point, I would say the fact that is um, deeply integrated with your e-commerce stack. And this makes the implementation so much easier. It's a no code, no workflow platform. Everything happens through using natural language. Everything is like very close to training a real human, giving it the full context over, all of our policies, giving it instructions, just connecting some things, and then you're you're good to go. Yeah. So I think these are among the things, but there's so many other cool things. It's all about, to be completely honest, it's so complex what we're building, and it seems very easy, but it's so complex and challenging, and it's all about the nuances when you're building an autonomous agent. Yeah.
Yeah. Good explanation. That sounds really, sign me up. I want to try it in our company. And we're not an e-commerce company, but we have a lot of customer support issues that we need to solve sometimes. And, we don't have, a full team dedicated to that. So that would be really interesting to try that out. Talk to me a little bit about, we're going to switch gears here. You had a couple companies before this and some solid exits. What did you learn in those companies that you've applied now to Sienna?
Yeah. I feel like my previous companies were the founder university that you never get to have. And the success, traction, and all of the things that we're doing right now at Sienna are, in a way, the result of everything that we've learned and all the mistakes that we've made. I could write a book about all of the mistakes. I'm still making mistakes. I'm still learning, obviously. But for example, when it comes to hiring, like I've done so many hiring mistakes. Like even when it comes to like maybe having to let someone go, because obviously it wasn't the best choice from the very beginning, but you're like, you didn't really know what questions to ask. You didn't really know, like, you saw like a nice profile, or you had a nice conversation, but like, did you go, like, how deep did you go? Like, did you actually first, before you actually put out that job post, did you actually define what you need? Like, what are our goals with this role? Like, what do we want to achieve? What do we need this person to do? And then what type of persona are we looking for? So then after you made that hire, you realize, very quickly, because in the first 2 weeks, you can kind of tell, to be honest, that, okay, this is not the right fit. And like, I remember my first I had to let go the first person ever in my life, and it was the most horrible thing for me. And I think I spent on the phone like 2 hours with that person, and it was like, I was just like trying to, in a way, justify everything. And oh my gosh, it was horrible. It was so like heartbreaking for me, because I never thought that I was going to do this, and I hate doing this. But it's just like, no, you should not do this. You should literally just, do it very quickly, obviously give feedback. I think what's very important is that it should not come as a surprise if you actually have to let someone go, right? So you should, like, they should figure it out. It should be a mutual thing. So this is just one, thing. That's a good story, but definitely hiring, and then also like prior a lot of learnings there. Also, like, a lot of things around when you're actually starting, like, before you actually start writing the first line of code, like, do proper validation, right? Not just like obviously you follow your gut, but like, you do need to validate. You do need to go on customer calls. You do need to ask the right questions, even like what kind of questions to ask in that validation period. That, like, it's so important, because it's so easy to, like, okay, go on a call with someone, you tell them about your vision for your new product, right? And you ask very superficial question, and then at the end, would you use this? This is the worst question that you can ask, because obviously they will say, oh yeah, I will give it a try. So then you're like super excited. Oh yes, I got another validation. Uh, Obviously our product is going to work. Everyone is going to use it. But when you actually build it, no one is going to use it, because they were like, oh, actually, I don't really have time. Actually, we're using something else. This is not very big problem for us. So like, the in a way, pre-building period is extremely important. Yeah, and it's just some of the things that come top of mind right now.
Yeah, that's great. I want to go back real quick to the hiring experience you have. One of the things that we do, I've interviewed 20,000 people in my career. One of the things that I always like to do when we hire internally is understand the goals that we want that person to solve when they join the company. But also, the very last touch point we like to do is look at the person and decide, could I see myself working for them? Even if it's a lower role than I have for myself, can I see myself working for them based on their intellect, their communication style, their leadership? Are there things there that others can work under them as well at some point? So just some litmus tests we'd like to go through in addition to all the basic stuff you look at from a core skills perspective. As you look at 2024 as a company and growth, where do you see the company going from people perspective in terms of hiring growth, as well as from a product roadmap perspective?
Yeah. So from a people's perspective, from an org structure, um, we are not fans of all. We were able to achieve so many things and move so fast because of our lean team, always. But we are big fans of hiring the right people, the key people, and working with great talent. So right now, I think we are 25 in the team, and probably, next year the team will double. But I'm not sure that it will go more than double. So this is from a team perspective. We even now, even until end of year, we still have some key hires to make. We're very excited about that, because it will help us, scale finally. We're in the scaling phase right now. We're still building a lot. There's so much to build, so many great products and opportunities, but also, like, how can we enable more brands to be successful with Sienna faster, maybe like onboarding brands faster and more brands at the same time, and all of these things, and just enabling them to be successful in a faster time frame. And from a roadmap perspective, there's not a lot of things that I can disclose today, but we are still very much focused on continuing our mission of building this autonomous agent. So we are launching a lot of interesting and very helpful actions that Sienna can take. So I've told you about some of the actions that it can take, right? Like tracking orders, like managing subscriptions. But what about the more complex ones, like issuing refunds, or I don't know, creating different kind of offers or discount codes depending on the customer type, the segments, like all of these things that obviously we get a lot of these asks and requests from our customer base because they know exactly what they need. They are in the trenches there. They're seeing those repetitive things over and over again. So we're continuing to double down on, I call these actions like Sienna skills. So we're adding more and more skills, more integrations. So, with AI, it's all a data and information game. So as much data and information you provide to the AI, the better it will perform, and the more context and knowledge and the more it will be able to do. So doubling down on integrations, finding the right partners to integrate with. And yeah, these are some of the things that we're excited about.
That's great. Well, as we wrap up here, I have just 3 more questions for you. We call these the 3 questions because they're just simple questions. For you, where do you go to think big or to brainstorm?
I go to work out. Yeah.
Do that. What advice have you gotten from another founder that has been priceless for you as a founder?
I think a good advice was to find leverage. Yeah, to always find leverage and not try to do everything yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What works for you in staying positive when the business is going through challenging times?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I've already built that muscle. I've been through so many challenges, and still there's so many challenges and stressful days, and one day you're on top of the world, the other day you feel like the most miserable person. But I think there's a combination. So obviously, the lifestyle, I like having a healthy lifestyle, like working out, meditation helps. I've bumped up my time from 10 minutes to 20 minutes now, and I'm already seeing better results. I'm just in my focus and memory. So, and then I think, nutrition, and then I think trying to surround myself with people. I love being around people. I'm a social person, and just not always be in my head, internalize things, or I spend so much time with my best friend, the laptop, which I feel I'm trying to balance. Okay, how can I spend more time with humans, not just virtually? So I think, it's a combination of these aspects.
That's great. I never heard that before. I think a lot of people have best friend laptops, and I'm one of them. So I got to give mine a name. Anyway, really great to have you on. I appreciate your time here. If anybody wants to find you or your company, where would they go?
I think the best place would be, on our website. It's sienna.cx from customer experience, or on LinkedIn. You can find me. It's Lisa Popovici, or Twitter. Pretty active on there.
Great. Well, Lisa, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining. And to all our listeners, thanks for listening. It means the world to us that you've spent your time today with us. Good luck here in the new year, Lisa, in 2000. And look forward to catching up with all the listeners on the next episode. My name is Jake Aaron Villarreal. Until then, everybody take care. Cheers. Before we wrap up, I want to give a big shout out to all the entrepreneurs that have joined to make this podcast possible. And for all the listeners for listening. It means the world to me that you chose to spend your time with us today. I'm your host, Jake Aaron Villarreal, signing off for now, but can't wait to connect with you all soon on the next episode. Take care. This show is sponsored by Match Relevant, a company that helps venture-backed startups find the best people in the market, and they do it in 3 simple steps. First, they sit down with founders to understand their story. Second, they tell their story into multiple candidate channels. And third, they schedule interviews within 48 hours. Find us at matchrelevant.com to learn more about how we do it.